Parker Voth. In the span of a single human life, Christopher Columbus turned a tribe of millions of people into a group that was near extinction. We have all been in a history classroom with Mr. Rash and learned about Christopher Columbus and his journeys. Christopher Columbus ruined the lives of the millions of people who actually discovered America. First, I will be discussing how Christopher Columbus has normally been taught to us in schools. Then I will be discussing some of the lesser known knowledge surrounding Christopher Columbus and his journeys. And finally, I will be discussing how some other people are trying to show that Christopher Columbus is not a hero. So let's begin by talking about some of the background knowledge surrounding Christopher Columbus. We have all been learning about Christopher Columbus since elementary school. The goal of his journey was to sail to the Indies, places like China, Japan, and India. At this time, these were believed to be very rich places, filled with an abundance of gold and silver. The goal was to bring this treasure back to Spain. The first of 4 voyages set sail in 1492 and obviously led to the said discovery of America. They sailed into the Caribbean unbeknowingly and claimed an island for themselves. They named the island Hispaniola, after Spain. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, which has been a source of information for over 250 years, in the article Christopher Columbus, published in 2019, Columbus's journey is said to be one of triumph, him playing the hero who discovered America. History textbooks and the fact that we celebrate Columbus Day tend to steer us in this direction. Now let's discuss some of the lesser known knowledge about Christopher Columbus and his journeys. The increasingly more popular observation focuses on the more destructive side of Columbus's conquest. When they arrived in the Caribbean, they came across the Taino tribe. At this time, it is believed that the Taino natives numbered as many as 1 or 2 million people. According to Brian Brown, senior editor on U.S. history for Scholastic News, in his article Challenging Columbus, published in 2017, he states that Columbus publicly praised the Taino people for their generosity. He then enslaved thousands of Taino people. He forced them to work and search for the loot. He would often force, torture, and cut off their hands if they were unable to bring him the treasure he was looking for. Columbus also sent thousands of natives back to Spain, where they were sold into the slave trade. On each of the 4 voyages, Columbus and his men brought over diseases that were unfamiliar to the natives. Typhus, cholera, and measles were sometimes the most common forms of death among the Taino people. According to Elizabeth Prine Paul, an archaeologist for the state of Iowa who specialized in indigenous people, in her article Taino, published in 2019, the Taino tribe went from millions to near extinction just 50 years later. Now let's discuss how people are bringing new light to the Columbus controversy. As some of these new facts came to light, starting around the 1990s, people called for change. According to Joe Bubar, a senior editor for Scholastic News for 12 years, in his article Goodbye Columbus Day, published in 2015, he states that people are no longer interested in celebrating Columbus Day. They would much rather celebrate the people who actually discovered America. In 2015, 2 cities, including Minneapolis, decided to no longer celebrate Columbus Day. According to Leo Kilsback, a professor of American Studies at Arizona State, in his article, The Columbus Day Debate, published in 2017, 40 other cities in 3 states have since followed suit, no longer celebrating Columbus Day. Most of these places now celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, celebrating the natives who actually discovered America. First, I discussed how Christopher Columbus has been taught to most of us in schools. Second, I taught you about some of the more disturbing facts about how Christopher Columbus treated the natives. And finally, I told you about how some others are trying to bring light to the Columbus controversy. Christopher Columbus ruined the lives of the millions of people who actually discovered America. The Taino people who he destroyed had lives and futures ahead of them. Let us not forget that death, destruction, and disease were brought about by Christopher Columbus. He was not a hero to the Taino people, and he should not be a hero to us either.